If you lick the end of an iPhone lightning cord when it's plugged in, will it result in brain damage? No, licking the end of an iPhone lightning cord when it's plugged in is a sign of brain damage. Hey everyone, Brian Von V8. Are you ready to see people get butchered and murdered by words? I sure am. No one lets it happen. I taught my daughter at a tender age that if any guy does something she doesn't want him to do, to tell him to back off loud and clear. And if he didn't, where to kick. She tells me she has never been sexually assaulted because she won't let herself be. She's no one's victim. I used to work as a sexual assault crisis counselor serving the 3 emergency rooms on the University of Minnesota campus. The most common thing the victim would say to me is, "Don't tell my father." Shakespeare didn't walk around putting pronouns in his plays. That's why they're classics. Imagine if this dude wrote, "My name is Macbeth and my pronouns are they, them." Shaking my head. Imagine screwing up this tweet so badly you picked a Shakespeare character that explicitly prays for sex reassignment. You had the entire opus to choose from, and you picked wrong. LOL! Considering the fact Apple invented Bluetooth. First, to have dual camera. First, to stream movies to TV. I can see where we are $1 trillion. Wrong. Dr. Jop Harston invented Bluetooth in the 90s. First phone to have dual camera was LG. Good try, buddy. Stream movies to TV has been out way before Apple. That is true. What's a beautiful photograph of white male privilege and entitlement. Sums up who rules our country. Readers added context they thought people might want to know. For 134 of the last 200 years, the head of state of the United Kingdom has been a woman. The next time someone offers thoughts and prayers, remind them to read the gospel according to James. Read. Many people argue that prayers aren't cutting it, whereas Self says, well, those are people that don't believe in an almighty God who is absolutely in control of our lives. The Bible rather emphatically puts offering thoughts and prayers without action under the not good enough category. What good is it, my brothers and sisters, if someone claims to have faith but has no deeds? Can such faith save them? Suppose a brother or sister is found without clothes and daily food. If one of you says to them, "Go in peace, keep warm and well fed," but does nothing about their physical needs, what good is it? In the same way, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. That's true. You gotta back up your action and do something kind rather than just say it. I'm taking my $0 elsewhere. Pixar's new short film Out features studio's first gay main character. Well, looks like it's time to cancel my free trial. Irving, we are sorry to hear that we will be losing your $0 per month. Not to be so judgmental here, but if that's whiskey, and I'm hoping it's not scotch, that's way too much ice. That better be iced tea, buddy. Oh crap, I wasn't aware that my personal tastes have to match yours. Hey, thanks for the heads up. How much creamer should I use in my coffee? And what flavor does it have to be? This post requires a bit of context. This reply was to someone commenting under a trans woman's post. Man, why are you in a dress? Drop and give me 20. Also, give me some punctuation, my guy. You record yourself playing video games, and you comment from a ghost account. No one will ever be asking you to determine someone's masculinity or femininity. You're a joke. Hey, I'm a streamer, man. Don't bully me, too. I'm so sick of people blaming nepotism for why they aren't rich or famous or successful. Obviously, it's not fair that people who come from famous families are getting a leg up because of that, but guess what? Life isn't fair. If you put your mind to something, you can accomplish it. I could see why you'd think that nepotism isn't a massive advantage, given that Kate Moss is your sister, and yet you haven't managed to do anything with that. On women choosing sterilization. Amid decline of abortion rights, some women are choosing sterilization. So are they going to sterilize themselves? What if they want kids down the line? So, if they don't know themselves enough to realize that they never want a baby, but when they choose to have one, you don't question it. Because having a baby is totally a whim and not life-changing at all. How many parents have told you, oh, you'll change your mind after they've had a baby? Seriously, Go sit on a sharp phallus, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart to the tip of the shaft. Name a game you're proud to have 100% completed. Hey Ubi, why don't you name a game where you have completed it 100% before releasing it? The real murder is always in the comments. I have to agree, sometimes we get some real gems in the comments. Apple hasn't invented anything since their first few years, and that wasn't thanks to Jobs, but thanks to the Woz. The revival of Apple has always been good at packaging existing technology into something the most deficient of brain voids can use and play their heartstrings with marketing to perfection. And that's all they do. They also made a dang useful OS. Sure, IT doesn't seem to like Macs because they can't multi-manage them like a Windows network, but from my observations, Macs seem way less error-prone in a day-to-day work environment. They dressed a dang useful OS. They did not create BSD. Their version has since deviated from what it was based on sufficiently to now be considered a separate OS, but they did not invent OS X. They dressed up BSD to get OS X. The whole idea of the revival of Apple being good at packaging still applies. Next, you're gonna tell me Henry Ford didn't invent cars because he's not the guy to invent metalsmithing. I'm sorry, but I really can't follow the reasoning here. We aren't allowed to think they made a good OS because they didn't literally code it from scratch in BASIC. Edit. I've got a freaking beaming Windows gaming machine at home. Feels like I gotta say this or I'll be accused of being a shill. No, I'll tell you Henry Ford didn't invent the car because Carl Benz did. The real murder is always in the comments. Also, in the comments below, PC or Mac, what do we got?
Oh, lol. Plot hole. You know zombies aren't real, right? They are magic.
You are 5 comments deep in a thread arguing the logistics of a zombie outbreak. I can only imagine you've been reading in melting disbelief as you excitedly exclaim to yourself,
Do they not know that this isn't real?
Perspiration forming on your lip as you tremulously prepare yourself to marshal a response. And somehow, you're the first to notice this absurdity. Zombies aren't real, Santa's dead, and we all hate demons. Blah. Maybe, Henry Bolton, you should have shared the context of the conversation. The person you were talking with was me, your brother, and at a family funeral. I walked away because I didn't want to engage with your small-minded opinions. I really can't believe you posted this. What did Henry Bolton say? Today I spoke with someone who was extremely senior with the NHS, nationally. They stated that diversity managers increase NHS efficiency. Well, I asked how. Do they positively influence patient outcomes? Then they said they weren't going to. Raise the debt ceiling, yes, of course, but I suggest also firing the Treasury manager, Yellen, in charge of this debacle. If a business resource manager kept failing and needing more money, they would be let go. As I say this, I realize I have no idea what Yellen's success metrics are, if any. Jesus Christ, reading this post almost gave me an aneurysm. Tell me, did you have to press enter after typing that comment, or did your brain melting out of your ears just happen to do it for you? Congress determines how much money is spent from the budget. Janet Yellen is responsible for writing checks and collecting taxes. What you're suggesting is akin to firing your CPA because your spouse spends too much money. Simon says, startup CEO building software for creators and marketeers. Oh, good. My team is fully remote and meetingless. Communication is 95% written. This comes with some huge benefits. We can revisit conversations easily. Misunderstandings are way less likely. And of course, conversations easily turn into docs and internal wikis. Our output is 10 times higher than most startup teams of similar size I've worked with in the past. Sonny says, your company has 1 employee on LinkedIn. You? It's like, I talk to myself and most of the time I understand it. When your short friend says, when I was little, I swear to God, I'm one short joke away from them being my 13th reason why. Well, you're gonna have to buy a ladder because you ain't reaching the noose standing on a chair. Wow, that's dark. Huh, MLK used to be Harrison and Walnut. Did you think it was always MLK? Yeah, I thought our city founders had a crystal ball and strong enough foresight to envision a black man rising up against racism and segregation in the South that they would proactively name a downtown thoroughfare after him, especially one less than a quarter mile from where they sold slaves at auction. Oh, for God's sake.
Oh, okay.
There's water leaking into the basement from your apartment. What's going on?
This is unacceptable!
What is unacceptable?
Water leaking from your apartment!
This leak is coming from a pipe and not through any action on our part.
Perhaps it's time to call a plumber. Perhaps it is time for me to not renew your lease. Perhaps!
It's just an image of, it's like, the leak is right here, maybe call a plumber, sort it out, man. George R.R. Martin. This should be good. The writer's strike is on. No one wanted this, no writer with an ounce of sense anyway. But the producers and the studios and the networks and the streamers gave us no choice. George, you've been on strike for over a decade. Yeah, so is Patrick Rothfuss, and you saw where that's going.
Well, everyone, thanks for joining us here at Fake Out, and I hope y'all enjoyed yourselves. If you liked this video, like this video, and feel free to talk to me down in the comments below. And I hope y'all have a good one.